Welcome back. It's Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts, and today we're going to do part 2 of this Snuggle Mystery Crochet Along. So first, let's talk about that there is a giveaway part of this Mystery Crochet Along. In case you didn't know, here's the information on that. There are 12 winners going to be announced at the very end at the party on Saturday. So be sure to attend that because there's additional giveaways happening right there live. So if you don't attend, you don't have a chance to win, okay? So let's go through it. The very first chance, each of them, of the 4, is 3 winners each. First, sign up for free and you're automatically entered. All you have to do is enter your name and email address into the sign up box on our website for the Mystery Crochet Along. And you're done and good to go. Yay! Number 2 is watch all 3 videos included in the Mystery Crochet Along front to end, literally run it right through and answer the question at the very end. I can tell whether you watch until the end or not, just that you know. Anyways, you're also going to need to answer the questions at the end and leave it in the comments, okay? So that way it qualifies you for the giveaway. The next part is finish the Mystery Crochet Along. However you like to do it. It just needs to be no yarn ends hanging out, and then it's considered finished. You're going to post it with the hashtag by the deadline and you're good to go. And the last one, of course, show up at the party and answer a few questions there, and you have a chance to win something there as well. Yay! All right, there are 2 different ways to get the written instructions for part 1, 2, and 3 pretty much. The very first part is free to view on my website. It does have ads. It's not printable. Sometimes you refresh, let it go. Okay, that's how the ads work, but at least you get it free to view. Okay, you can't print it, but it's free to view. Now, the other option is ad free and printable, and that is the Crochet Club, our membership. It comes with over 500 ad free crochet patterns, 6 to 7 meetups per month, and so much more. So if you want to check that out, you can. You can join as a monthly, quarterly, or annual member, and we have a blast in the Crochet Club, and there are so many patterns to pick from. You literally have it at the tip of your finger, 24/7 available to you. All right, let's talk about the colors for today, okay? So there are a few different ways on how you're going to crochet this piece. So there are actually going to be 2 pieces, either red and yellow or red and green. Now, I personally think, also for practice, it can help you to make both of them, okay? Make both of them, and that way you can decide in part 3 how you're going to finish it. Trust me, you're going to be happy if you made both of them. It gives you a better idea on how to finish it. And even if you prefer one or the other, you can always make the entire piece one more time and you already have that part done, okay? But I do recommend making both. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying I recommend it. So that way you have better options, okay? So let's get into the 2 pieces that you're making today. Let me remind you what we did in part 1. This is what you did in part 1. So now let's go into part 2. All right. First, you're going to make a chain of 30. So here's a chain of 30 already done, but I want to give you a quick little tip, okay, in order to make sure things don't get tangled or twisted, okay? So let me pull out a couple of chains right here. So this was 2 chains removed. So let's pretend you're making the chain right now, okay? Then you have this long chain, and then you need to make sure nothing gets twisted. Well, personally, what I like to do is, instead of making this long chain first, I make like about 5 of them or so, and then I attach my hook, like literally removing it from the other side right there and attaching it to the very first chain. Now I'm going to make sure that my chain is not twisted, so I literally untwist it, although I start after 5 chains, so there's not much twisting going on, right? But this one is a little bit longer. And then I'm going to reattach my hook right into this chain, and I'm just going to let this one dangle right here. Pretend it's not there, right? Literally just pretend it's not there, and you're going to make your long chain. So here's my chain of 30 now done, and all I got to do is, after I've done this, and now I know it's not twisted, I'm just going to pull it right through, and now I'm ready to go for round 1. So in round 1, we're going to crochet a few more increasing rounds. So we're going to start with, so this is chain of 30, right? But we're going to kind of divide it into 6 parts. So there's going to be 6 repeats, okay? So you're going to start on the very first chain. you literally make sure that you have still 30 stitches. Okay, so we're going into the first chain right here, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet stitch, and then you're going to crochet 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. So that means you have 4 in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to do an increase. So 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch. Now I like to go in a back bump, but you don't have to if you don't want to. I personally think it's much cleaner this way. So again, 1 single crochet in 4 stitches, and then an increase after that. And you do this all the way around, and then we're going to the next round. All right, still make sure there's nothing twisted. So once you're done with this round, you're going into the next round. Make sure you add a stitch marker into it. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet in 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then again, an increase. And you're going to do this all the way around. So 1 single crochet in 5 stitches, and then an increase. All right, move up your stitch marker, and we're going into the next round. So 1 single crochet in 6 stitches this time, and then an increase after this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then an increase. And then do this all the way around, and it's going to look like this. So after you crochet this, you're going to crochet 14 rounds in just yellow. Okay, so 14 rounds of 1 single crochet stitch per stitch, and then you're going to do 5 additional rounds in red. So again, 14 in yellow, 5 in red, all 1 single crochet stitch per stitch. And then you're done with this piece. So obviously this one is more of like an open piece on both sides. Cut your yarn. You can weave in the yellow, but the red you can leave for now if you like, but it doesn't need to be long, maybe a foot or so. And then we're going to go into the next piece. So let's do that. Okay, for the next piece, you're going to first start with red. No matter which way you're going to finish it, as I said, I suggest red, yellow, as well as red and green. So you're making 2 pieces. But again, that's a recommendation. I'm not forcing you to it. You can just pick one or the other and then move on from that. Okay, if you have just yellow at home, then just go with the yellow. It's totally fine. Okay, so once you have your colors ready, you're going to start with a chain of 30, the exact same way as we just did, and you're going to connect the very first chain with the last chain together. Again, we're going to continue using 30 stitches, so make sure however you're going to connect your loops that you still have 30 stitches in the end for that loop right there. Okay, all right, so every first stitch of the round is going to be an ATC, or alternative turning chain, also known as a stacked single crochet stitch. So let me show you how that works. So you're going to go into the very first chain right here, and you're going to make a single crochet stitch. Then you're going to insert your hook into the loop that's closest to your yarn finger, yarn over, pull through, and then you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. So that's your ATC, that's your stacked single crochet stitch, and it counts as a double crochet stitch. In the next stitch, you're going to crochet 2 double crochet stitches, but we're not done there yet. So first 1 and 2, and now you're going to make a chain of 2. So 1 and 2, and now you're going to insert your hook again into the same stitch and crochet 2 more double crochet stitches like so. Now you're going to crochet 1 double crochet in the following stitch, then you're going to skip 2 chains or 2 stitches and go into the next one. Crochet 1 double crochet stitch. We're actually now starting over this repeat right here. So just instead of that ATC in the beginning, we have a double crochet here. So 1 double crochet. In the following stitch is going to be that 2 double crochets and chain of 2, and again 2 double crochet stitches. So all in that same stitch. Then again a double crochet stitch in the following stitch, skip 2 chains and repeat. So go ahead and repeat this now all the way around and then finish it up with a slip stitch, which I'll show you how to do. All right, it's going to look like this at this point. So we're now going to keep going. Okay, so first we're going to make our slip stitch. So you're going to find your alternative turning chain, the top, and you're going to make a slip stitch right into it. You can make a fancy slip stitch if you want. I'm just going to do a regular one. You're also going to make a slip stitch into the following stitch. Okay, I do want to remind you that you had finished with 2 skipped stitches down here, so that should still be there. So just like you've done the other ones, you're finishing up with 2 skipped stitches. Okay, then you make a slip stitch in the first stitch and in the next stitch. Okay, so now you're going to crochet again an alternative turning chain in that same stitch you made the slip stitch in. So make a single crochet and then another single crochet on top. It counts as a double crochet stitch. So now you're going to crochet 1 double crochet stitch, so 1 stitch per stitch until you hit that chain of 2 space. Okay, and that counts now for all the rounds. So what I'm telling you now is exactly the same for all the rounds. 1 double crochet per stitch until you hit the chain of 2. Okay, every time you hit the chain of 2, you're going to crochet 2 double crochet stitches, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochet stitches. Okay, so that's going to be in that chain of 2 space right there. So then you're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch until you have 2 double crochet stitches on next to each other on top of the skipped stitches. So right here you can see that there's 2 double crochet stitches kind of touching, and they're right above the 2 skipped stitches. Once you hit those, do not crochet into them because those are the ones you're going to skip. Okay, so here's 1 double crochet done. I have to do 1 more to get to that space. So right here is 1 more to get to that space. So here's now the 2 double crochet stitches that are above that little open space, if you want to call it that way, right? So where that skipped stitches, the skipped stitches were, because now those 2 double crochet stitches that are touching are going to be skipped. Okay, so skip those 2 stitches. That's going to be again those 2 stitches you're skipping, and go into the following 1 double crochet stitch until you hit the chain of 2 space. So it happens to be over here is 2. By the way, that number increases for every round by 1. So here in the bottom it was 1, now it's 2, right? And then a following round it'll be 3, etc. until you hit the chain of 2 space. Again, once you hit the chain of 2 space, you're going to crochet 2 double crochet stitches, chain of 2, and 2 double crochet stitches. And then you're going to repeat that again, 1 double crochet stitch per stitch until you hit those 2 touching double crochet stitches above the skipped stitches. Those 2 double crochet stitches are going to be skipped. So these ones right here, skip them, and then you're going to start over the same repeat all over again. So I'm going to finish it and I'll show you how to do the slip stitch at the end again, and then we'll go from there after that. All right, so again, you should be finishing with 2 skipped stitches. However, one of the skipped stitches is going to be where that first slip stitch was. Okay, so there's 1 double crochet here, and then here it's that alternative turning chain that you're skipping. Okay, so again, you're slip stitching after the 2 skipped stitches into that alternative turning chain right there, and you're going to slip stitch into the following stitch again. Now you're going to repeat this process. So again, it's 1 double crochet until you hit the chain of 2. You make the 2 double crochet stitches, chain of 2, and 2 double crochet stitches into that chain space, and then again it's 1 double crochet stitch per stitch until you hit those 2 touching double crochet stitches above the skipped stitches. You're going to skip those 2 touching double crochet stitches. Okay, they look like a triangle, right? You're going to skip those, and then you keep going and repeat this all the way around. And you're going to do 3 rounds in total in red, and then you're going to do a few more in either yellow or green. Again, I recommend both. Let me show you how that looks like. So this is the yellow version. You can't see the entire piece because there's only so much space on my camera here, but that's okay. So it looks like this, right? So you have 8 additional rounds in yellow after you did the 3 in red. So I know this looks like a little bit crunched up, but don't worry about it. We kind of want that little bit of volume right there. So don't worry about it, okay? So you can block it already if you want. Just the middle section will probably not block very well, but we want it kind of that way. So this is the yellow version, and then this is the green version. I'm just going to place this right here on top. Again, it looks exactly the same in terms of the shape, just that it's done in green. So I used the regular green color. It actually looks darker on camera than it really is. It's much brighter. So we have, again, the red in the center of it, and then we have the additional 8 rounds. So I made both of them, not only to show you, but also obviously to show you the end result and how there's going to be different pieces and how you're going to finish this, okay? So I recommend doing both. It's also good practice, and it's actually a really kind of like a mindless experience. So if you remember, you remember, right? Anyways, it's actually kind of fun to do this one. So I recommend doing both, so that way you have a better ability to make a choice once you do part 3. Again, you're not forced to. You can just do the yellow version if you like, or you make the green one too if you like. Again, I made both, so that way I can decide better of how I'm going to finish part 3, right? So you are now going to take pictures of all the pieces you have done so far. I'm just going to show you here the pieces for part 2. So you made this piece right here in yellow and red. Then potentially you made 2 pieces, you know, red and yellow and red and green, or just one of them, right? Again, it's up to you. You're going to take a picture of these pieces, maybe with the part 1 together, so you kind of have all of them laid out, and take a picture of it. Use the hashtag you see here on the screen, and then post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki, the way I showed you, okay? So you type your text out, you put your picture into the Facebook group, and put the hashtag into it too, so that way I can find and celebrate you, and just like everyone else can celebrate you too, and leave comments, like, and I really appreciate it, by the way, that you guys cheer each other on in the Facebook group. That means a lot to me. Like, literally, you guys are leaving comments on other people's posts about the mystery crochet along. You like the post just like I do. You guys are amazing. Seriously, the support in the Facebook group is incredible. The positivity, the encouragement, you guys are really, really amazing. So thank you for that. I'm saying thank you for everyone to everyone. Okay, so go ahead and take your picture after you finish crocheting these pieces, and I want to see them. Okay. And now it's time for your 2 questions for the Snuggle Mystery Crochet Along for part 2. So in part 1, you had 1 question. Part 2, you're going to get 2 questions, but please answer them both in the same comment down below. Okay, so question number 1 is, did you make both pieces? Did you make both or just one? And which one did you pick? Okay, so that's your first question. Did you make both the red, green, as well as the red and yellow version? Or did you just pick one of them? And if you did pick only one, which one did you pick? That's question 1. And question 2 is there an updated guess from you in terms of what we're making in the Snuggle Mystery Crochet Along? So think back of what you said in part 1. What did you say in part 1? Think back on what you said. And now think of part 2. You have now part 1 and part 2 in front of you. What do you think we're making? We still have a few more pieces to crochet in part 3, but it's not a lot, okay? There's not a lot of pieces left. Now it's going to be more of an assembly situation. There are, again, still a few pieces that we need to crochet, okay? But it is mostly assembly. So what do you think we're making? What is going to be the snuggle pattern in the end? Obviously, that's not going to be the name, but I'm calling it so far. Leave your comments down below so you have 2 answers down below in order to qualify for the giveaway. I am so excited for part 3. I sure hope you are too, as well as the party on Saturday to have more snuggle crochet patterns to talk about, and of course prizes to give away. So in the meantime, go ahead and like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a video or go live. I hope to see you in part 3, am I right? As well as the party. Until then, bye!